Have you ever wondered what makes a man's life change sexually? Like, I'm talking never forget you, mind completely blown, life changing sexually. Well, what if I told you there's a specific strategy that you can use to change a man's life in bed? And it starts with your words. Which is why on today's show, we're going to be discussing 7 sexy things men love to hear in bed. That way, you can use your brand new superpower to have him deeply desire you forever. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and active. Chat. Okay? So we have you here, and I want you to understand something about men so that we can all be on the same page. In a perfect, amazing world, men would be able to read your mind. Just absolutely know exactly what you need, when you need it, how you need it, for how long. In reality, though, men not only cannot read your mind, they're a little bit handicapped when it comes to understanding you, especially sexually. So what we need to do is we need to understand how important communication is in your sexual life with him, but also understanding communication cannot be confused here. What do I mean by that? You have to be very direct and specific with what is working and what is not working. Point number one is about hitting the spot. Now, when you start getting intimate with a guy, it can be very easy to be in your own head. Maybe you're a little bit nervous and you're a little bit anxious. But what we don't want is we don't want that nervousness and anxiousness to make you forget the most important part of sex is communication. Because you might know that when you get your neck kissed over here, oh my God, you're soaking, right? You might know that, but he doesn't necessarily know that. You might know that when a guy comes in here and he kisses in on your inner thigh here, that it is like, wow for you. You can't even believe it. But he doesn't know that. You might know, with these nice yiddies of yours, you might know that when you get your nice voluptuous yiddies sucked on and you get your nipples sucked on, you're very turned on, right? But he doesn't know that, okay? And the reason I'm saying this and I'm pointing this out is because each one of you, as women, will have your own zones. I'm drawing an ear here, okay? Each one of you as women will have your own zones, right? That are things for you that really get you going. They're essentially one of your spots, right? Everyone's a little bit different. So what you have to recognize is what your spots are, number one. And then when he is actually hitting one of those spots, you need to communicate the fact that this is a spot and he's getting to it. So what does that actually look like? Let's say he starts sucking on your nipples and you're like, oh my God, I love when you suck on my nipples. That's right there is the perfect motion. Oh my God, I love getting my nipple. And you're reinforcing the idea that this is the spot. And what I also want you to be thinking about is in the future, because remember, part of sex is also learning each other, and you're learning each other's bodies. So you're going to have your own specific points, whether it be on your arm, you could have your elbow, your neck, whatever the case is, right? You're going to have your own specific points that these are the points where you like them touched the most, or you like them touched in a very specific way. So we have to be very clear with the men that you're dating and the men that you're sleeping with that this is a spot so that he can also put it into memory and properly understand that this is what he needs to be doing. This is how he needs to be doing. And this is the spot to be focusing on. Why? Because that understanding brings a lot of clarity for men, and it actually helps to release some of their anxiety as well. Because both of you have a little bit of anxiety going through this, especially if it's the first time. So when you guys are going through this and you're learning each other, you don't actually realize how much more comfortable you're making him in understanding that you're, one, enjoying this, but he's also getting to your spot, not just randomly and aimlessly going around doing things, hoping one of these things is going to be the thing that turns you on, okay? Because what can happen a lot of times, if you don't communicate that this is one of your spots, he might start kissing on your nipples, and then he might be wondering, like, I'm telling you this because you might think men don't think like this, but they actually be wondering this sometimes. He might be kissing on your nipples and thinking to himself, is she enjoying this? I don't know. Maybe she's kind of bored here. She's not saying anything. She's not really even moaning. Should I try a different spot? Maybe I'll kiss her neck instead. And he might literally, I'm telling you, this will happen. He might literally go from your nipples and you're thinking, oh, this is so amazing. I'm enjoying this so much. And he goes from your nipples to your neck. And then he's over here like, maybe I should try the neck. Okay, how should I suck? Should I suck really hard? Should I just kind of tongue it? Should I just kind of kiss? And he's literally playing a guessing game as he's going through this in his mind, trying to figure out which one's going to get the right reaction. But see, this is where the problem comes in. All of that confusion also makes it a lot harder for him to release his own anxiety and to be able to feel comfortable like, hey, I'm doing the right thing. I'm at the right place. You know, I'm touching the bullseye, so to speak. Are we all on the same page? Okay. I'm going to make sure to answer a lot of your questions today because I know a lot of you guys are going to be having questions. We're going in depth today. Okay. Anytime it comes to relationships and especially sex, we're going to go in depth because it's such an important part of relationships. Okay. I'm going to be like your sex ed teacher from the man's perspective to help kind of bridge the gap so that you can have great sex in your romantic relationships, not casually. Okay. Let's hop into point number 2. Okay. I know what the title says. Let's not talk about it. Okay. We have to talk. We have to get real here. All right. So let me draw this out and I promise you I'll explain it. Okay. So please, for me, understand this. Point number 2 is about coming. Now, what I want you to understand is you might know what it takes to get you there, to have you orgasm. But remember what I said about men earlier in the show and how they don't necessarily have that same understanding of what works for you and what you need? What we're trying to do here is we're trying to essentially build a situation in which you're able to better help guide him to get to this, what we consider the bullseye, right? Let me see if I can draw it out here. The bullseye. The reason I'm saying that we want to kind of help him get here, right, is because one, it'll make your life very good because when you get a chance to orgasm, you're very happy. But it'll also make him very happy because he'll be able to understand that he's doing what you actually enjoy. And you're not faking this. You're not pretending. You better not be pretending to come. And you're actually here enjoying this and you're actually climaxing. So how do we do that? Whenever you're with a guy, you have to be very vocal, not only about him hitting the spot, but about him giving you the right pace and the right rhythm, okay? Let me explain something to you about the male mind, and it'll probably make a lot of sense with you why you've had this disconnect before. And you can let me know in the chat if you've ever had this disconnect before with a guy. Have you ever been sleeping with a guy? And in the process of you guys sleeping together, let's say you actually do end up saying, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna come, or I'm about to come. And when you say that, he then proceeds to do, whether he's eating you out or whether he's inside you, he proceeds to go so much harder and so much faster than he was going before. Okay, let me know in the chat if that's ever happened to you. And when he goes so much harder and so much faster, it throws off the rhythm of what you guys were doing. And then all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh no, like now that you're doing a different pace and a different rhythm, it's not working for me. You're actually making it harder for me to come now. And you start to get frustrated because you're like, wait, I didn't say I'm about to come so that you can go a different pace. I'm trying to say, just keep doing what you've been doing, okay? And the reason I asked that question is because this is an easy way to miscommunicate. So 2 things I want you to do here. 1, I want you to make it clear that when you're about to come, in that same sentence, whenever you say that, I know it's a lot to think about. In that same sentence, I want you to say, oh, I'm going to come. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. So that he understands, don't switch it up. Don't go harder right now. Don't change up your pace. Keep everything the exact same. Okay? And I will get there. And can also be a mistake, right? Because you might say it one time and then you might just wait for yourself to actually orgasm. I want you to continue guiding him closer and closer to the bullseye, right? The reason I'm describing it as a bullseye is because sometimes he'll hit over here, sometimes he'll hit over here, sometimes he'll hit down here. And what you're essentially doing by guiding him is saying you're closer, you're warmer, you're farther, you're way off, okay? You're not even in the picture over here. And you're kind of guiding him on what rhythm works for you, what pace works for you, and even what way works for you. What do I mean by what way works for you? We're getting very graphic and specific here, right? Some of you, maybe you don't know this because you don't have a lot of experience, but I'll let you know. Some of you women are going to be clit women, okay? Meaning the best way for you to orgasm is by getting your clit stimulated. Some of you are going to be penetration women, which means the best way for you to get stimulated in orgasm is going to be through penetration. Some of you are going to enjoy fingers more. Some of you are going to enjoy his pee-pee more. Some of you are going to enjoy his tongue more. It all depends on your vibe, okay? But what we need to understand is what you enjoy more. You need to understand that for yourself so that when you're kind of helping him target this bullseye, you actually understand how to communicate to him whether he's closer or farther. If you're not able to communicate that, it's going to be very confusing for both of you because you won't know what pace or rhythm even gets you there. And remember, like I said in my earlier point, when you're able to communicate this, it eases men's anxiety. It also helps them understand and know for sure that you're enjoying this, which actually turns them on a lot more. You'll be surprised how much of a man's attachment or ability to be turned on really comes from his understanding of whether or not you're enjoying this for most men, right? Because when they understand you're enjoying this and they feel like they're doing a good job, they're able to relax more. One of the number one ways that men will stiff up, not in a good way, they'll stiff up during sex or they will not get hard, right? Is not just because of a blood flow problem. It's also because they're very nervous. They're also very anxious. And that anxiety doesn't allow them to relax and get comfortable enough to start getting turned on themselves. So you're doing something for him, that's also doing something for you, and everyone wins, okay? Does that make sense? Are we all on the same page so far? Do you guys have any questions about any of what we just discussed, okay? Let's hop into our point number 3. Get him close to that bullseye. Get him real close so you can get there. I want you to get there. All right. Point number 3. So, we talked about you getting there and getting closer to the bullseye. Now let's talk about something that probably isn't as bedroom related, but it definitely does affect the bedroom. Okay? Especially for the men. So let's put this here and we'll do this like this. So in the middle here, we have the bed. Now, let me draw something out for you and then we shall discuss, okay? We have dirty talk over here. What else we got over here? Ooh, we got treatment over here. And, ooh, this one sounds dirty. We're going deep today. Okay, so let's think of it like this. Point number 3 is affirmations. Now, I'm not talking about the type of affirmations that you're accustomed to. What I'm discussing here is something you may have not tried yet in bed, and you're missing out on a lot of potential enjoyment for both of you if you haven't tried this yet. Affirmations is not just for, when you guys are casually sitting down on a dinner date. Affirmations during sex can be really powerful because you can reinforce ideas that were existing or are existing outside of the bedroom in your relationship, but actually makes this experience a lot hotter. What do I mean by that specifically? See, outside of the bedroom, right? You might not realize it, but you're also making love and having sex in a way. You're just not actually having intercourse. Why am I saying that? Because all of these different types of things outside of the bedroom in your regular relationship will affect your ability to get here and actually enjoy it. So what I want you to do is I want you to bring some of those things that are existing outside of the bedroom into the bedroom and kind of solidify all of these ideas together and make them one. What does that actually look like? So let's say you and a guy are out on a date, on a dinner date. You're wearing this beautiful outfit that he loves. He thinks you look so good in this nice, tight, black dress, okay? He's obsessed with it and obsessed with you and obsessed with your look. He's grabbing up on you, he's groping you while you guys are out. He's grabbing your ass, you know, he's feeling on you. You guys are making out a little bit. You guys are having a nice dinner date. Both of you are turned on. There's a little bit of dirty talk going on. You guys are flirting. There's some tension. He's treating you well, so it's turning you on. Now what I want you to do, see, you might think, okay, yeah, that's great. That's all amazing. But what I want you to do is I want you to take everything you're feeling or thinking from outside of the bedroom, and I actually want you to talk about it in the bedroom. So what does that look like? Now, when you guys actually get into the bedroom and you're bent over and he's ramming you from behind, or he's looking into your eyes and making love to you, I want you to describe to him how well he treats you. Oh, you're such a big man. You take such good care of me, daddy, or whatever you like to call him, right? I want you to describe, oh, you were grabbing my ass today in that dress and it was turning me on so much. Oh, when we were dirty talking at the restaurant, oh my gosh, I was so wet sitting next to you. I've been wanting this all night, right? All this tension and all this buildup has been making me, I was sitting, and I literally want you to go into detail about things that were happening outside of the bedroom. This might seem a little bit silly to you, but when you're rehashing this, you're doing multiple things simultaneously. One, you're bringing him back to moments that were happening before, right? You're also bringing him a little bit into your mind state, which is also helping him feel like, oh, you was really that wet when you was sitting beside me at dinner. And he's actually being able to picture what it's like for you to be so turned on at this dinner. You're also, especially when you can talk about how well he's treating you, it's a version of an affirmation. Oh, daddy, you're taking such good care of me. Oh, daddy, no one takes care of me like you do. This is such a powerful place to affirm him. And I know you might think, is that going to turn him on? It will. It will turn him on mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because now is the best time for him to feel like the man. So when you can affirm that he really is the man in every way that he takes care of you, whether it be financially, physically, emotionally, all of that good stuff, right? And you can point that out and direct his mind to that while you guys are intimate with each other. Oh, so powerful, okay? So powerful, because you're tapping into his desire to do more and do well for his woman. Men love the same way you love a compliment when a guy will tell you that you look amazing and you look beautiful and sexy. Men love appreciation for being able to show up for you as a man. So assuming he's actually doing that, we want this to be a perfect time for you to affirm him in that. And then also talk about some of the things that are going on outside of the bedroom to kind of bring it all together, right? Foreplay, I always like to think of it, doesn't just start in the bedroom or when he starts touching on you or you start touching on him. Foreplay starts way, way before that. When you guys are, on a dinner date, or when you guys are just hanging out casually, right? All of that builds up to make this experience better. So if you can bring some of those outside affirmations that you would regularly only tell a guy when you guys are on a Tuesday afternoon watching movies or something like that, I want you to bring those in even to your intimate sexual experience with him, okay? Does that make sense? All of you? Are we on the same page? Me? All of us? Okay, right? All right. Let's hop into our point number 4, okay? Jazz says, Tomisin, what do you think about this? A girl on YouTube saying that her video that a woman shouldn't fulfill all of their man's fantasies because he will be bored and leave her. Well, fulfilling a man's fantasies in what sense, right? I wouldn't advise you to be doing all of the nastiest things you can possibly do when you've just met a guy and you've only been dating him for 2 weeks, right? So in that sense, then yes. But when we're talking about a long-term romantic relationship, well, why would you try and hold back on fulfilling some of his fantasies and letting him fulfill some of yours? If you guys are now in a long-term serious relationship, that I feel like is misguided energy. Holding back, especially in your, because you can't just think about sex as something where, oh, I'm giving to the man and he is the only one enjoying this and only one participating in this or getting anything from this. So I think that when you get to a point where you're in a real romantic relationship with a man who's also committed to you, I think there should be a desire for both of you to not hold back anything with each other at all. Because both of you receive something from the experience of being intimate with each other. I think that when more power to that woman if that's what she believes. But I think that if you're approaching your romantic relationship from the standpoint of I'm going to hold back from you, then you're probably not even enjoying sex enough that you should be in this romantic relationship, because your mindset should be I get something from this as well. And if you're not, then that's a problem. All right. Let's hop into our point number 4. These get like progressively more and more dirty. So bear with me here. It's gonna sound very weird. I ain't seen no one talk about this, so it's gonna be very weird for me to kind of describe this. You guys know my drawing not the best, but we'll try and draw this one out. Oh boy, this is gonna be a weird one. Oh boy, chat, don't show this one to your parents, okay? Let's not. After this, chat, we won't talk about this again, okay? Don't show this one to not even your friends, okay? We won't talk about this. So, okay, and oh god, all right. So let's think of this, okay? Point number 4 is release the seed. Now, this might sound a little bit strange to you on why this would affect men or turn them on, but it does. Whenever you can have a desire for him to orgasm, and especially when you can verbalize that, it actually builds a lot of excitement in men. Now, I can't really explain to you why it does, but I can give you a little bit of a visual on how this kind of works. So imagine the sperm is here, okay? That's true little spermy sperms, okay? And in order for them to actually output, right, they need a little bit of motivation, which is where you come in. You're like a wave, okay? Specifically, you're a wave of motivation here. And your motivation helps to push this sperm out of him and out onto your face, your hands, your mouth, your whatever, inside you, wherever it's supposed to go. So why am I saying this though? Because verbalizing how much you want him to orgasm, how much you want to see it, how much you want to feel it, how much you want him to just explode everywhere, actually will turn men on a lot. Because now you're encouraging and motivating this process. You might think that it doesn't mean much, but it does to men. So if you can be verbal about how much you want it and you want to see it and you want to feel it, whether it be feel it inside you or feel it on you, you're definitely going to be motivating this very well. Now, I'll give you a pro tip that I actually don't want a lot of you to practice because it works a little bit too well, and I know some of you will make a mistake using this pro tip. So for those of you who are a little bit less experienced, just cover your ears. Pretend like I never said this. My pro tip for you when it comes to releasing the seed is all you younger people better be gone. My pro tip when it comes to releasing the seed is if you want to really excite a guy, talk about how badly you wish he could come inside you, okay? Now, let me be very clear, okay? Before any of you start freaking out and saying, wait. Let me be very clear. This is not for people who are inexperienced. This is also not for people who are sleeping with men who are inexperienced. Why? Because this is a conversation that has to be understood beforehand, where there are certain things that I will say or you will say in the process of us sleeping together that we don't actually mean, but it would be hot to fantasize the idea of doing it, okay? Now, this, like I'm saying, this is advanced stuff. So for those of you who don't understand how to balance that line, don't bother doing it, because I'm scared that when you say it, your man, who's also inexperienced, will actually think that you mean it, and then he'll actually come inside you. I don't want that, okay? We don't want mistakes here. What we want is we want to create a scenario in which, like I described here, you're helping to motivate this process, right? You're really going to turn him on when he feels like you want this really badly and you really want to see him or feel him orgasm. Now, obviously, in the scenario in which the pro tip I'm giving you where you're saying, I really wish you would come inside me, he's not actually going to come inside you unless you're on birth control, right? Or he's wearing a condom. Even still, don't do that. But what we want to do is we want to inspire the motivation that will actually make him so excited and turned on that the experience for him is even better, okay? Something that might seem very small and insignificant, you're like, well, he was going to bust a nut anyways. Why am I encouraging it? When you encourage it, it makes him also feel like you want it. And anytime, like I said, a guy feels like you really want it, you want to be here, you're enjoying this as well, that's where a bulk of his enjoyment is even going to stem from, okay? Right? All right, let's hop into point number 5. Okay, does that make sense? You like my little swimmers? My little swimmers? Someone said ejaculation. No, I'm gonna talk how the kids actually say it. The kids don't say ejaculation, so I'm just gonna, we'll speak in the real talk, you know what I mean? How the kids actually talk about it. Kids don't say it. If you heard someone say ejaculation to you on a date, you'd probably be like, is he a serial killer? Let's hop into number 5, okay? All right, this one gonna be kind of weird to you, so I'll explain it. We'll do this like this. We did you in the middle, so now we're gonna do the man in the middle. All right, and we'll draw his nice meaty hands. Oh wow, that's horrible. And we'll draw his nice, amazing feet. Okay, so chat. Point number 5 is objectify. Now, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I'm actually very serious with this. When you meet a man, it will be great for, at certain points, see, yes, you're a nice, feminine, sweet woman. But when we're getting more intimate, we want to explore the darker sides of your personality, okay? And there's nothing wrong with being someone who's really attracted and into your man, okay? He's not a stranger. This is something that will really get men going because a lot of women are afraid or embarrassed to express themselves this way with their man. If you can see, men spend, let me explain something to you about guys. We spend a lot of time objectifying women, okay? That's just the honest truth. Now, that isn't necessarily even a bad thing. It's just when we observe them, we're really taking them in visually, okay? But if you can do a good job of expressing some level of objectification with your man, especially in a sexual way, it actually can turn him on a lot. So what does that look like, right? That can look like, we'll start here. I'll just draw it. I'll just write it. Right? That can look like you guys are hanging out and spending time with each other and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that. I want that D. I've been thinking about that all day. I need that in me. You need to put, I've been waiting for this all day. Okay? Just shut your ass up, shut your mouth, don't talk to me, and penetrate me, okay? It's gonna sound weird, right? Whatever your thing is, and this doesn't just have to apply to his D. Let's say, hypothetically, you're really into his hands, right? And you're like, oh my gosh. You say, a lot of writing, I want to suck on your fingers, right? Maybe you're a girly that's really into men with nice hands, okay? And you like to suck on fingers, that's your thing, right? You can objectify him that way. You can, let's say you really love the way that he tongue kisses you. And you're like, look, I want a tongue kiss, right? I want to kiss. I need to kiss you. You could also, if you're really nasty, you could say something like, look, your face, I love it. In fact, I love it so much I want to ride it. Okay, there's a lot of writing on the board, right? You could say something like, look, sir, I'm gonna need you to lay down and I wanna ride your face. I've been thinking about that all day. I've been stressed out. You were sexting me at work this entire time. All I've been able to think about is riding your face. Please lay down. Please let me ride your face. Okay. In fact, I don't even want to ask that question. I just want to do it. Just get naked and let me ride your face. These are the type of things they might make you be like, oh, Thompson, that's a little bit assertive. I'm supposed to be a woman. I'm supposed to be doing that. Is that really gonna, like, I don't know. He might get turned. No, he won't. Because when you objectify him, you're telling him or communicating to him how much you want this. Okay. And it sounds very weird, but men actually do enjoy being sexually objectified by their woman, because you wouldn't objectify him unless you really wanted him. And if you really want him, that passion that you're going to show him that you have will also do a good job of making him feel desired himself. And when he's desired, once again, his anxiety is lowering and he can better feel like, okay, she wants to be here. She's enjoying this a lot. I'm giving her and providing her with a lot of pleasure. That reinforcement of that idea and that understanding for men really helps to keep them motivated and keep them going. When a man's mind can be free like that, knowing that he's providing you with the experience that you're actually genuinely enjoying, that's the most freeing thing. Anytime a man feels like, oh, she's not enjoying this, she's not into this, or maybe just because you're so shy and, self-kept that he can't really feel or know for sure if you're into it, then he's kind of like in his own head, wondering if he's actually providing you with any enjoyment or if you're uncomfortable yourself. And I don't want that to be the scenario, okay? Does this make sense to all of you, right? Maya says, I'm either freaked out or shy in the bedroom. So these are the type of things that you want to kind of work on. If you feel like when you get to the bedroom that you become super shy to the point where it becomes a little bit awkward, then you have to do a little bit more communicating and talking outside of the bedroom. I call them pre-game and post-game conferences. So an example of a pre-game conference is like having a conversation with someone before you guys actually sleep together about the things you're into in a more in-depth, detailed way, the things that make you comfortable or uncomfortable in a more detailed way. Post-game conferences are after you sleep with someone, rehashing what was working really well in that experience, what you really liked, and what didn't work for you as well, and vice versa, hearing that from them. That way, for the next time, both of you are able to focus your energy in a place that will serve each one of you a little bit better. And each time, it's like taking a class or taking a course or watching my show. Each time you learn a new lesson and you understand that person just a little bit more until you get to the point where you're almost like reading each other's mind, especially when it comes to sexually, okay? Let's hop into our point number 6, okay? I know some of you nasty people into some of those things, okay? Not me. I'm not into any of that nasty stuff. I don't do things like that, okay, chat? Me, I just come on the show. I'm an AI, me, I don't do them type of things, okay? Let's hop into point number 6. All right. Okay, this is a good one. I like this one. You should be able to connect with this one because it's something you probably do on your own time. Okay. How many of you have ever read a smut book? Okay. Tell me in the chat if you've ever read a smut book before. I'm just actually curious. And for those of you who don't know what a smut book is, a smut book is essentially one of those books that goes very deep and descriptive into sex, but it's usually from the female gaze, okay? Meaning it's a woman usually talking from her own perspective of an experience with a man. Think a book version of 365 days. That's what a smut book is. If you haven't experienced it or you don't know about what that is, I would actually encourage you to go read some because it'll probably stimulate parts of your mind and your body that you didn't actually know exist because of the way you're structured as a woman, okay? So the reason I describe a smut book, right, is because for what we're doing here, we want to kind of do the same thing, but for men. See, smut books are great because they give so much details about what is happening and what is transpiring. All of those details, they help paint a picture, right? And a very clear picture at that. A very clear understanding of exactly what you're visualizing, of exactly what's happening. See, the mind is such a powerful tool. And if you can use it right for both of you, this can really go from a good or decent experience to being one of the most powerful experiences you've ever had in your entire life, right? When you're painting this picture, right, you get to use imagination. And never underestimate the power of imagination, like in SpongeBob, right? Imagination. It is such a powerful tool. Whether or not you're actually doing the thing and you're just describing the thing that you're doing, or whether you're talking or painting a picture of something you would like to do, or a fantasy of both of yours, it's very, very powerful. Let me give you an example of exactly what I mean. Let's say he's on top of you. You guys are in missionary, right? We'll keep it simple for you guys. And as he's penetrating you, you can be, chat, don't laugh, okay? I'm gonna have to play the role of you. You can say something like, even though he's already inside you, right? We get it. We know that this is happening. You can be even more descriptive by describing what is happening. So for example, Daddy, I love spreading my legs wide open for you and having you penetrate my tight you know what, okay? Daddy, I love it being wide open for you and letting you go, whatever, you get my point, okay? And letting you, go ham, go deep inside me, whatever the case may be, right? And you can even describe it in more detail. I'm so wet. You're stretching me out so much. I'm so tight. I can feel you in my insides all over, whatever the case may be. And go in depth, go in detail. Paint a picture of how much you're enjoying this. Paint a picture of how he's penetrating you. Paint a picture of how he's going crazy. Paint a picture of how you're feeling so stuffed that you can barely even breathe, okay? These are good pictures to paint, okay? And even if let's say you're not painting a picture of exactly what's happening and you're using the power of imagination to turn him on, you can also do that. This is part of communication though. Understanding what a guy's fantasy is, or the fantasies that you share together, will be a really great time to be very descriptive. Let's just say, for the sake of example, you guys have always had a fantasy of having sex in a restaurant. This could be a great time to be very descriptive about the fantasy that you both have of you sitting on his lap in the restaurant and doing it under the table. And you're there in like one of those restaurant booths and you guys are doing it and you just hike up your skirt and you guys are pretending like nothing's going on. This could be a time where you now start describing to him this fantasy. And the two of you are kind of going back and forth talking about this fantasy as you guys are actually doing it. We're friends, Guys love this because you're tapping into recesses of their mind. You don't even have to actually be doing it. But this power of imagination can help him picture it to the point where it's like, oh my God, it almost feels like we're actually doing it. That's how powerful imagination can be. And if you can tap into exactly what it is your man is specifically into and whatever fantasies you guys really share, trust me, you will see visually and feel a difference, okay? If you practice this or you're already good at this, you know what I'm talking about, because you'll get to a certain point in your relationship with your man that you know exactly what to say, exactly how to say it, and exactly what descriptive words to use. And you know that just with your words, you can take him from soft to hard. That's how powerful this is point number 6, but this should be like point number 1, because that's how powerful this can be if used correctly. And understanding how to use your words, how to describe, and what you should be describing. For every guy, it's a little bit different. Not every guy is going to have a fantasy of being in a restaurant with you and you hiking up your skirt. Some guys, they might say, oh, I want you to be us to be out in the alley. Some guys might say, oh, I want it to be in a club, right? Some guys might say, oh, I just want it to be us on the floor, okay? So whatever the case may be, everyone is a little bit different. So it just requires a little bit of conversation to understand what is going to be your description, your details that you're going to use to activate his imagination. Does that make sense? Are we on the same page? Someone asked, what is a good Wattpad story earlier? Wattpad. What is a good smut book earlier? I'm trying to think. There are some crazy ones. You guys recommend them in the chat of what you think a good smut book is. The title of one, okay? I haven't read a smut book in a long time, so I couldn't even tell you what the really good ones are or what everyone's reading. But trust me, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. You should definitely tap into that as a woman for sure. Okay? Help spark your imagination. Let's hop into point number 7, okay? Point number 7. Alrighty. So here, whoops. I don't know why I'm drawing this like this. Chat, you know I'm not an artist, so whatever, okay? Okay. So what we're trying to do here and understand here, point number 7 is about begging. Now, there's a very specific type of begging that I'm trying to describe here when I'm talking about begging. The begging that I'm referring to is the begging of him to give you what you need so badly. It might feel a little bit like you're playing a little bit of a role, but trust me, you will do something for him that is very powerful. If you can beg him, for example, by saying, oh, I can't help myself. I really need you to put it inside me. Let's say for the sake of example, he's eating you out, right? And as he's eating you out, you're like, I need you to put it in me. I need that so badly. I'm literally shivering. I can't think straight. I can't see straight. I'm so turned on. I need you to put it inside me so badly. And the reason I'm saying begging is because I actually want you to beg. And I mean beg in a way where it's like, you're not going to be desperate in general. You're just desperate for him to be in you and to feel him all over you. This is great. When you can communicate this, because some of you might actually be thinking this, but not communicating this. When you can communicate this, this is another version of him saying, oh, wow, she's really into this. Oh, wow, she's really enjoying this. I must be doing a good job. Guys, I'm doing a great job. And it helps to stimulate him as well, okay? This also taps into a little bit more of the animalistic side of sex, which is good. There's nothing wrong with allowing sex to be an experience where both of you are a little bit more in your animal instincts, as opposed to just being like, yep, I stand straight up, I'm clean, I'm buttoned up, I'm so nice, we don't need sex to be like that. In fact, sex can be very therapeutic if it's a lot more animalistic and both of you feel like I can talk however I want to talk, I can say whatever I want to say, I can be honest about whatever I want to be honest about, because then you actually feel a lot more of a release, both of you. And then when you're begging as well, you're helping tap into that same sort of psychology for both of you. I need it, I want it, I can't help myself type of rhetoric and talk. This helps him also get in that mode, because I'm sure a lot of you like a guy who will be a little bit more assertive and aggressive during sex. And so this also helps stimulate that mode, that animalistic mode that I'm sure a lot of you feminine women like to see from your man during sex. I'm assuming most of you don't like a really passive, shy guy when it comes to sex. But we also want to create an environment where he feels good being that and he's in that type of energy. This helps fuel that type of energy, right? When he can see how much you're enjoying it, how much you're into it, he can also start to get into it as well, okay? Jazz says, no, we don't. You like a man to be shy and timid when you're sleeping with him? Okay, sure. I guess everyone's different. All right, chat, do you guys have any questions about the 7 that we just discussed here today? I know we went very detailed, and I know we're talking about something so specific, but it is so very important, because making love and having sex is such an important part of a relationship, okay? That you want to make sure that you're both enjoying it. I want both of you to enjoy it. Any questions you guys have, I will answer about these 7, okay? By the way, if one of your questions might be unrelated to today's show or very specific and long and detailed, you can also ask me a personal question by going to the link in my bio on TikTok or in my description if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can click where it says private relationship advice and you can ask me a personal question there, type out as many paragraphs as you want, send it in to me, and I will respond with a voice message, usually like 8 to 10 minutes long. Oh, that reminds me, I have a bunch to send out. I did a bunch yesterday and I have to send them out because you guys love the private questions, okay? Flower says, I don't beg, I command. Queen energy. This does obviously depend on your vibe because some of you might be into being more dominant during sex, which is fine, right? Everyone has their own style, but just make sure if you're someone who enjoys being more dominant during sex, that you partner up with a man who likes being more submissive during sex, because if both of you are fighting for dominance, going to be a little bit awkward, and vice versa. If both of you are fighting to be more submissive than the other, going to be a little bit more awkward there. So just make sure that whatever type you are, whatever vibe you're on, that your partner is like the opposite, the contrast of you, if that makes any sense, right? Jazz was saying, no, we don't do shy guys. Oh, okay, good. Because I was like, hey, you like your guy shy and timid during sex? Hey, everyone has a different vibe, right? LP Baby says, is it only for boyfriends? What point in the sex timeline can we do this from month 4 to 5? So remember, in the sex timeline, when I discussed that with you guys, the sex timeline is really about events. So you're not really focusing, even though I give you guys a timeline that's based on months, what I'm really trying to help drill into your mind is that you want to be experiencing certain events first before you're going about the business of sleeping with him, because we don't want to sleep with the guy and then after the fact realize a bunch of things about him that you never knew before, or change the likelihood that you would have made the decision to sleep with him in the first place, if that makes any sense. Because theoretically 4 to 5 months could pass and you can learn nothing about him. So it's not just about the amount of time it's been, right? It's also about events. Nicole says, so begging won't cause us to be devalued. So let me be very specific. I'm not talking about begging like, oh, I need you to be with me because I'm so desperate and I don't have anyone in my life. I'm talking about being in a romantic relationship with someone and being intimate with them and begging for them, right? Because of how badly you want them, because of how badly you need them. Almost like, in animalistic sense. That's the type of begging that I'm referring to. Men love to also feel that level of desire from you because it helps communicate to them that you're enjoying it that much. So we're talking about your actual romantic partner and helping bridge the gap of understanding between how much you're enjoying this and want him and how much, how well he's doing as well. That's what I mean by begging. I'm not talking about begging in the sense of saying, I need to be in a relationship, I'm so lonely and that's not the type of begging I'm referring to, okay? Mystique said, I call mine Big Daddy. Interesting, okay? Chat, what do you call your men in bed? What's your go-to word? I know a lot of women use daddy, obviously. Some use poppy, some use, what are some other ones people will use? Some have some really kinky ones. Some might use something that is meant to show him that you're dominant. Everyone's a little bit different. Someone said his name. Someone said I use Papa Smurf, okay. Oga, Oga's a Nigerian one. Papa, okay, their name. I don't call him anything. You're silent, all right, interesting. Someone says, why daddy? Is it because of his money? I'm not sure. I think daddy's just meant to be like, oh, authority figure, right? King Beef, that's what you call him? Good boy? Okay, Abu, babes, I refer to him by his name. I call him mi amor or papi, big boss. Interesting. That's very interesting. That I would love to study the psychology of that one. Sir is hot, that's what you call him? What? LP Baby says, do men actually like being called daddy? Does it depend on the guy? It does depend on the guy. For some guys, it's weird. For some guys, it's not weird at all. For me, it's not weird at all. For some guys, they might be like, oh, not my vibe. I'd rather you just call me my name, right? The same way some of you might like to be called certain things during bed that may be degrading, or you might like to be called something like princess or queen or whatever the case may be. It all really depends on you and your experiences and what you're into. So everyone's a little bit different in that sense. It's not really a one size fits all type of thing. Someone says I call him baby. Someone says Daddy Tom. You call your man Daddy Tom? Interesting. My servant? Okay, interesting. Monkey King? Interesting. All right, chat. Do you guys have any more questions about now? And now I know some of these were a little bit confusing as well. So I want to make sure that I get to any of these. I want to ask you guys as well. Are there any things specifically that you feel you've been struggling with when it comes to intimacy with men in terms of the communication that I may not have addressed here as well? Because sex can be a time where, because you spend the least amount of time discussing it or talking about it, it becomes the most confusing part of the relationship, because you have the least understanding of the other person, and vice versa, because you spend so little time talking about it. Okay, that's the thing. So I want to make sure that I get to all of your questions. Someone says when it comes to taking, oops, let me scroll up here. You said when it comes to talking and fantasy, is it just universal to let him fantasize of other women, or is it just unwise, you said, to let him fantasize about other women? I would say it's unwise to let him fantasize about other women, because we want you to be the fantasy, okay? Which is why I think one of the best practices whenever you're in a relationship with a man is to have lots and lots of sex talks with him. I'm not talking about sex talks of like, oh, you're sexting about how he wants to be inside you. I'm talking about like in-person sit down, like, tell me what you're actually into. Tell me what turns you on. Tell me what type of fantasies you have. Because then once you have a really good understanding of your man's fantasies, you can figure out which one of those applies to you and how you continue to stay true to yourself. We don't need you to change, but how do you stay true to yourself while also helping to fulfill those fantasies that he has? And how do you embody that in a way that also simultaneously allows you to stay true to yourself and continue to feel comfortable in this relationship? Because then if you can do that and you can merge those worlds together for you and your man, you'll be a lot happier because you'll feel his desire for you grow and intensify. And he'll be a lot happier because he feels a lot more fulfilled sexually in the relationship, in which case he won't need to fantasize about other women because you will be the fantasy. It's going to sound very weird, but there's actually, I believe, in a great relationship, it's possible for you to be the girlfriend, for you to be the wife, for you to be the side chick, for you to be the one night stand, for you to be the SLUT, and for you to be the princess all in one person. Because all of those different moods can be had with you, depending on what you guys are doing that day, depending on what the vibe is that day, and you can actually embody all of those. That he doesn't feel the need to say, oh, I'm gonna go out and cheat or be with this one, or because I need a different vibe, or whatever the case may be, because you give him all of those different vibes, right? Now, obviously, there are some men who will cheat regardless of what you give them, but you get my drift, right? There's a way to kind of integrate, allowing a man to feel like, oh no, I do get a lot of what I'm looking for, if not all of what I'm looking for here. In which case, I don't necessarily need to be thinking about what's going on outside, but it takes a lot of communication and understanding on both parts, because I think that should also be the case for you as well. You can be whatever he wants. He just have to say what he wants. That also comes with conversation, right? And specific types of conversation. Sometimes you might think talking about sex is just talking about the act of it, but talking about sex is also understanding the psychology of sex with you and your partner, right? And not just what their desires are, but why are those desires the way that they are, and understanding on a level deeper. Someone says, can you recap, please? Haley, and anyone else who was wanting me to recap, I have some great news for you. All of this is being recorded because I'm live at the same time as I'm live on TikTok. I'm also live on YouTube. So if you want access to any of this information that we discussed in today's show, just go over to my YouTube channel, which is just my name. It's on the top right of the screen. You can type in my first name, Tomisin, on YouTube. You'll see me live there as well. And then even as I'm live, you can click the rewind button and you can watch everything from start to finish. So you won't miss a second of anything that we discussed here. All of it's in detail there. Okay. Wendy says, how do I tell him nicely the right way to please me? Don't want him to feel bad. The best way to encourage a man on how to get closer to the bullseye, so to speak, like we talked about earlier, is to first, you want to always kind of do what we call like a compliment sandwich. So you start with what he's doing well. So for example, let's say he eats you out well, but when it comes to his rhythm and his stroke game during sex, not as good. So you start off with, oh, you do such a good job eating me out, and it turns me on so much. I know that you can do just as good a job when we're like actually doing it. And I would love if you could be able to blank, 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 or do this and this and this, because it would feel just as good as when you're eating me out. You see how you kind of like sandwich the way you want him to make an adjustment with the things that he's already doing well, to the point where it almost feels like you're not telling him you suck, or you're not telling him I'm turned off or disgusted, but you're helping to guide him and help him focus his energy in the places where you think there could be some improvement. I know it feels very long-winded or very complex, but I promise you, when you get better at this, you'll be able to help guide men to give you what you want. And then they'll also feel like, like they won't feel emasculated in that process, or they won't be like their ego is hurt, right? Because you don't want to like damage his ego by saying, oh, you do this horribly, I'm super turned off and disgusted, because then you're not going to get the response that you want, okay? Someone says, I've been celibate after my last relationship. Is it better to sleep with a wrong guy first so I don't get too excited? What? What type of show do you think this is? You think because we're talking about sex, I'm going to advise you to sleep with the wrong guy? No, Anna, no. If you're in a celibate stage or an abstinent stage, that's perfectly fine. What you're going to do is you're not going to sleep with anyone or do anything until you feel 100% certain about that man, okay? You're definitely not going to go out and sleep with the wrong person to fulfill some sort of arbitrary desire. That's not what you're going to do. Because that's going to happen after that, even if he has great D game, what are you going to do? You're going to bust a nut, and then you're going to feel shame afterwards. That's what you're going to feel. You're going to look in the mirror and feel disgusted with yourself, because you know that man don't want you. You know he don't love you. You know he's not committing himself to you. And you know you're playing yourself by allowing him to penetrate you, even though he's going to go off and do something with another woman, okay? So you're going to feel shame. It's not going to be as amazing as you're imagining. Even if you bust crazy nuts, there's going to be shame after those nuts, all right? Just being real with you. You said, so Maya says, you hear her too freaked out. She wanna jump a man. Yeah, nah, we're not advising. We'll talk about sex in the Players Club, but I'm not gonna be advising you guys to sleep with random men. That's not what we do here. Flower says, I'm an exponential Scorpio. What does that even mean? It's gotta be all or nothing. He's either all mine or else I'm not with him at all ever. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with going about it like that. Okay, Henya says, but his D game is good and he can use it as a weapon. That's exactly why you don't sleep with men until you're actually getting commitment from them. You meet his family, you meet his friends, you can confirm he's here for the right reasons, type of thing. Because what you don't want is a man who knows how to talk to you, who knows how to stimulate you, who knows how to touch you. He'll get you to lose your marbles. And then once you're on the hook, trust me, once you're on the hook, you're cooked. Because now that you've experienced it, it's very hard to get off it. It's like doing crack, okay? You don't want to experience a man with great D game, knows how to chat to you, knows how to be a smooth operator. It's not good. It's not good for your panties. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for nothing, because you're going to be cooked, okay? Well done. You're going to be cooked. And it's going to be very hard to pull yourself out of that once you start experiencing that on a regular basis, okay? Cool.
Me, but my mom taught me to never get tricked by a man. So I'm going to tell you guys how not to. Do not believe anything he's saying. If he's telling you he's going to take you out, do not believe anything until you see it on pen and paper, until that car is at your doorstep. So a lot of girls act like they're like exclusive with a guy, even if they're just like talking. That's not your man. That's a member of the roster. You want to be booed up with someone who you're not even number one on theirs? Not me. I don't compete. And then they're all like, but I want you. Okay, micro penis 65. Should be your new gamer tag, that's for sure. Siege it up. I don't even feel bad doing so, because I just know that they've at least done it to one girl in their lifetime. Plus, I'll never feel bad for rejecting something I don't even want in the first place. You are not like texting me on every...
Okay, sorry, I just, my mind works weird, so I have a question for all of you, because I like asking women questions. I obviously would never be able to understand the frequency, but tell me, let's say you meet 10 guys, okay? Out of 10 guys, how many of them will have like a micro penis or like a penis so small that you're like, I wouldn't be able to possibly enjoy this? Like, I'm genuinely curious because I hear people talk about it. So I'm like, is this like a really regular thing? So like out of 10, how many do you think would have either a certified micro PP or a PP so small you would be like, there's no way I would even be able to enjoy that? Okay. See some people saying 1 out of 10, 8. Okay. None. It's normal. Wait, it's normal. 9 out of 10.
Every single platform, like trying to have a conversation with me. I promise you, you've been voted off the island. The truth is, you might be good enough for someone, but you're not good enough for me. He's telling me that he loves me, but my mom taught me to never get tricked by a man. So I'm gonna tell you guys.
But I do think that there's a lot of truth to this, just in a general sense. I don't even think it just relates to men, right? It's my whole philosophy is that you never really want to believe anything someone says to you when you first meet them. Not because you're just like, oh, you're untrustworthy or whatever the case may be. You just, after a while of being mature, you realize that people do lie for various reasons. And the idea that someone will meet you who has no investment in you and that you have no way of confirming if they're going to tell you the truth or not, the idea that that person is just going to come on their very first date with you and spill the beans on everything in a truthful way that's super honest and super upfront, most of the time it's just not going to happen. So accepting that and understanding that will actually make your life a whole lot easier. I guess the kids call it being green or being naive, right? Is when you just immediately believe in everything someone says to you just because they said that thing to you, as if people don't have ulterior motives all the time. They do, okay? Man or women, okay? So just keep that in mind. Even in your friendships, people have ulterior motives.
You see, love bombing is when someone gives you too much love and attention too quickly. They shower you with gifts, attention, plans, sweet messages, but that's not real love. You see, they're doing it because they want you to want them. But once they've hooked you in...
Chat, his stick figures are so much better than mine. If only I had some drawing skills. This sucks.
That's when all the attention stops. And guess where that leaves you? That leaves you completely confused. Why? Because they're not trying to love you. They're trying to control you. Because love grows slowly like this. While love bombing, on the other hand, is a manipulation tactic to get you to depend on them. But there's actually 4 more manipulation tactics that I talk about in chapter 11 of my book. Now, if you want to read my book, the link to it is in my bio. You can use...
Chat, I need to make a book. I'm not working hard enough. All these people have books and things like that. I just draw on a board. But I do think that there's a lot of truth to this. I think love bombing also gets used for various other reasons as well, like obviously to sleep with you as quickly as possible. And part of love bombing, the effect of love bombing is making you feel like very quickly you guys are in a very serious relationship, right? The more quickly he can make you feel like you guys are in a serious relationship, think about it. It'll even, if you're not really understanding what's going on, it'll even make you think that all of the check boxes that should be checked are being checked. For example, let's say a guy knows that you need to feel like you guys are dating or boyfriend and girlfriend in order for him to sleep with you. And some guys will go as far as literally being like, will you be my girlfriend in the first 2 weeks? They'll introduce you to family, they'll introduce you to friends, and they'll basically be like, hey, we're already dating right now, so we might as well do a thing because we're already a thing, we're dating now. But you don't realize like even that in itself can be a version of love bombing because they're just speeding through the process at, light speed so that they can eventually get to their end goal, which is sleeping with you. And we've even seen that in the Players Club Discord of men asking a woman out in literally the first 2 weeks of meeting her so that the process can be rushed through. And even that in itself can be a version of love bombing. You know what I mean?
If that man ignores you all day, do not go ahead and crash out and go off on him, because all that's going to do is let him know that you were sitting around waiting for his call or text. What you need to do is you need to confuse him. Act like you didn't notice. Find something else to do. Find somebody else to talk to. And if he don't say nothing all day and you don't say nothing,
find something else to do. Don't find someone else to talk to, because when people say that, it makes me think of, I'm just going to, anytime I'm feeling lonely, I'll just find someone else to fill that void. Figure out how to fill your own voids. That way you're self-sustaining.
Don't say nothing all day. See how long he goes without texting you, especially if you're the person who be carrying y'all conversations. And when he finally does decide to come back from micro ghosting you, act like everything is normal. And if he mentions it, just be like, oh, well, I just assumed you didn't want to talk to me because you hadn't said anything. And that lets them know that you're not going to be sitting here waiting around on them and wishing for a text from them all day. And it also lets them know that you have your own life and that if they decide to act up, you're not going to chase. I'm telling you, people be testing you. But I'm going to tell you.
People do test. And what she means by micro ghosting is, people would describe ghosting as like if someone just disappears on you forever, right? Or disappears on you for like, sorry, I just thought of something I want to eat after this. They would describe micro ghosting as if someone, like, let's say, doesn't talk to you for a whole day after being really consistent with you, or maybe even like 48 hours. And that can really discombobulate a lot of people if you're already in an anxious state, or even if you're a secure person, just being like, that's really out of rhythm. But it's really good to, especially in the very beginning, because people are going to test you, guys are going to test you. When a guy is testing you, to respond as if you don't even realize their presence is gone. It also really hones in on the point that your life literally continues to go on at normal speed, at normal pace, with lots of enjoyability and happiness, whether he's in it or not. Especially at the beginning too, it's very good to show men that your life goes on without them. You don't have to say it. You just have to show them, because when they do come back after micro ghosting you and your response is, I didn't even notice you're gone, hurts the ego a little bit, but it also shows them that your life moves on. So if they're going to do a thing where they neglect you, you will just move on. And then at some point you'll just be so far gone that he'll never be able to come back, which is good. It's a good place for men to be in with you. Okay.
The best way to respond to a man is to not respond at all. You have to learn the power of your attention and your presence. If you are seeing a behavior that you don't like, why would you reward them with more attention? Nagging, complaining, reiterating yourself, sending long paragraphs, getting emotional is rewarding them. Silence is intriguing them. If you do not respond, that man is going to be confused. Y'all have to start treating them like dogs. You do not reward your dog with more attention when they do something you don't like. You ignore them. Ignore them until they get the right behavior. Stop teaching grown men how to be grown men. Just pull your energy back. You do not have to chastise and coach them. Only give your attention when you are getting the behavior you like. Reward them. Tell them what they want to hear when they're doing good, when they're doing right. When they start,
I would even say take it a step further. Not just tell them what they want to hear, but show them appreciation for the good things they're doing when they're doing those good things, and be specific about that. We even talked about that on the show one time.
You need to be MIA. As quick as they started lacking is as quick as you're busy and unavailable and unattainable. They need to be like, oh, why she didn't react? What is she doing? Why is she so busy?
Oh, here's another one, right? That maybe we'll have a show about this. Your response when men are kind of meeting you below the bar should always be minimal and very like, oh, you're not going to get any of my attention. What do I mean by that? So for example, let's say you're dating a guy and he goes, second date, you guys are supposed to be going out somewhere, or let's say you imagined you'd be going out somewhere with this guy, and on the second date, instead of asking you out somewhere, he's just like, hey, you want to come over to my place and watch Netflix? Your response should just simply be, no thank you, smiley face. Don't explain yourself. Don't give him alternatives. Don't tell him how he could do this better or ask you out. No thank you. And then if he says, oh, okay, you don't respond, and just leave it at that, right? You don't need to do a lot of over-explaining or over-communicating. You just show men, hey, if you can't show up how I expect you to show up, you just won't get at me. It's very simple, right? But I'm not going to be begging for you or begging for your time or for your energy. By the way, that reminds me, I missed two of these donations here. Miss Denise donates $5 in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much, Miss Denise, for your donation. You did that at the very beginning of the show. I forgot to shout you out, so thank you so much. And Go Wings donates $5 in the YouTube chat just now as well. She says, Tommy, did I love bomb him if I gave him pineapples all the time, but now I blocked him because he said he doesn't want a relationship? I think that that's not love bombing. I think that's just doing the order of operations wrong. So what I mean by order of operations is there's a specific order in which you're supposed to do things, meaning before you sleep with him, you want to be sure about him. You want to understand him and understand what he's trying to do here and what he wants out of the situation. You don't sleep with him and then understand him and understand what he wants, realize it's not what you want, and then be like, okay, I can't be with you. That's doing the order of operations backwards, right? Love bombing is a strategy that men and women can use it, but love bombing is a strategy that people use to manipulate someone into making a decision that they wouldn't have made otherwise. That's kind of the more defined version of love bombing. Also, thank you for the donation, and thank you to everyone else who donated in the TikTok chat as well.
The best way to stop worrying about what a man is doing is all you gotta think to yourself is, don't nobody want his ass. Like, nobody wants him. Like, nobody. See, the problem is you're putting this man on a fucking pedestal and thinking that he's better than you or he's bigger than the program. Baby, don't nobody want his ass. And if they do, they're not you. So why the fuck you intimidated? Why you mad? Why you feeling this type of way? They're not you. He's attracting bum bitches. Like, if he is even attracting them. So it's like, why the fuck you mad? Like, let him, if he choose a bum bitch over a bad bitch, that says a lot about him. You don't need to be with his ass anyway. Another way to stop giving a fuck about what a man is doing, all you gotta do is think to yourself, like, I'm just using it for his money. Like,
No. We're not doing this today. We already did this the last show. We're not doing this today. It's not that I disagree. Because it is still a waste of your time. Let's be very clear here. On the Players Club show, we talk about emotions and energy all the time, and also your time. It is a waste of your time to invest any time and energy into a man who you don't see fit as husband material. I don't care whether you're getting $100 from him or $1,000 from him. Okay. Getting money from a man is not an excuse to throw away your emotions, your heart, and your spirit. Okay. It's not an excuse to give away your body. It's not an excuse to give away your time. And it's not an excuse to give away your, I don't know where we got this idea from, that money is an equal exchange for your heart, your soul, and your spirit. But I'm here to remind you, I will be in your ear, in your head every day. Anytime you think about sacrificing what you want emotionally and spiritually in a relationship for money, I will be there to slap you and tie you onto a bed until you realize what you're doing is wrong. Okay? We're not going to be allowing money to control us, okay? If money affects you that much where you feel like you would let a man misuse you or mistreat you because he has money, go and get you some money, okay? Figure out how to get yourself some money so that it can't control you that much. I really mean that, because you should never be in a situation where you're saying to yourself, I'm just doing this for money and I'm getting a Chanel purse out of it, so it's worthwhile. Your soul and your spirit is worth a Chanel purse? Interesting.
The fastest way to detach from someone that you really love is by letting them do what they want to do so you can see what they would rather do. If they want to lose you, let them. If they want to choose someone else over you, let them. If they can picture their life without you, let them. You don't know how much time and energy you are wasting being hyperfixated on what you can't control. You can't force someone to see your value, but you can choose not to allow others to dictate your worth. Stop tying your happiness to other people's actions. The fastest way to...
I like what she says here, but is that a vape in her hand? We watched a video of hers before, and I think the chat couldn't decide whether that was a vape or whether that was lipstick. So what are we deciding here? Is this a vape in her hand or is this lipstick?
Detach from someone that you really love is by letting them do what they want to do so you can see what they would rather do. If they want to lose you, let them. If they want to choose someone else over you, let them. If they can picture their life without you, let them. You don't know how much time and energy you are wasting being hyperfixated on what you can't control. You can't force someone to see your value, but you can choose not to allow others to dictate your worth. Stop tying your happiness to other people's actions.
Chat, I have a question for you because I don't vape, right? Sorry, I know it's a little bit off topic. So if you're a regular vapor, does vaping calm your nerves? So like if you're an anxious person, is vaping helping to calm your nerves? Is that like part of the lore of it? Because I don't understand, because when I see some people vaping, they hold it as if it's a pacifier. So I'm trying to understand, what is it doing mentally and emotionally for them? The vape, because I'm thinking like, why not just put the vape down for the video? like you know, I mean, no judgment, right? I'm just curious. When I see it, I don't understand why it's like almost like a version of a pacifier. I don't understand it. Flower donates €5 in the YouTube chat. She says, "What is waiting too long? Think I did 2 years and he never cracked. Was eventually I think you meant to say he did eventually, but was building a connection. Was I wrong? I also didn't French kiss." So you're saying in 2 years of knowing a guy, you guys didn't sleep together or anything, but you guys were building a connection? What's wrong with that? That's not waiting too long. If he's okay with waiting that long and you're okay with waiting that long, there's no too long, because by the time you guys do it, you'll only know each other better. Okay, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Some of you said so it's fighting demons, right? Yeah, I don't even think I've ever taken a hit of a vape before. So I don't really understand the psychology of the vape. So that's why I just like to learn. Okay.
He didn't lose feelings. He just got comfortable thinking you would never leave. So he didn't lose feelings.
Damn.
He just got comfortable thinking you would never leave.
Damn. What is he driving? Interesting.
If you think your man is at a gentleman's club and he's out of town with his boys, he's in Miami or he's in Las Vegas, if you have access to his bank account, okay, if you can see his statements, check for the steakhouse, okay? Trust me when I say this. I've worked in multiple gentlemen's clubs back in my past life. And the gentlemen's clubs always show up as a steakhouse. And it's a whole negotiation between the dancer and the customer, because this is how it goes. Hey, babe, do you want to dance? No, babe, I can't go to the VIP room because my wife's going to see it on my bank statements. Oh my God, babe, trust me, your wife will never know because it shows up as a steakhouse. Let me walk you to the ATM. Are you serious? Do you promise, though? What if she notices? She'll never know, babe. I swear to God, it shows up as a steakhouse. Okay, babe, let's go to the VIP because I'm a fucking dog. That's how it goes. Check for the statements. Check for the steakhouse. Don't say I never taught you shit. I love you. If you think you're
Not sure how I feel about this. It's not that it's great advice, but I feel like if you get to the point where you have to check your guy's bank statements, I feel like you've already gone through some really suspicious situations with him. At which point I think you probably are better served walking away, but I guess the bank statements could be the last possible confirmation. The only thing though is that like sometimes he could actually be going to a steakhouse, or sometimes he might be taking a different girl out to a steakhouse, so it might actually be a steakhouse. I don't know. I don't go to gentlemen's clubs, so I can't even confirm or deny if anything she just said here is true. Maybe some of you have experience with that, so you know if that's true or not. I've never paid for a stripper to dance on me at a strip club, so I just really I don't know if any of that is true, to be honest with you. I can't confirm or deny any of that. Maybe some of you who are more familiar can, but very interesting information. Very interesting information. I do know though that men what is that in the background? Is that a tree or a woman? I do know that a lot of men go to strip clubs, even as weird as it sounds, not for the possibility of sex. Sometimes they go to strip clubs literally just to talk to the strippers, which is, they still pay for it, but quite interesting. Okay. All right, chat. Let's hop into our next segment of the show. For those of you who are unfamiliar here, this is a very special time. It's a very amazing time, and it's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. If you don't know, don't worry. All of the amazing members of our Players Club community will tell you the time. Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your entire home. Should I go loud or quiet, chat? If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. Yeah. Okay. I need to get that one out. Wow, that was good. All right, chat. For those of you who have no idea what that was all about, I'm going to explain this to you. So, Discord time is where all the amazing members of our Players Club Discord community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, I'll pull this up here for our Discord time. There are a few different ways in which you can submit your question to me for it to get read, and I'm gonna show you all of the 3 amazing ways in which you can get your question read. Now, the first way is by submitting your question to our free relationship advice forum and section here. Now, the way that this works, let me make sure this is good here. Now, the way that this works is in this free section here, you can submit your question by going to the link in my bio on TikTok or my description if you're watching on YouTube. Click where it says Players Club Discord, and then you can ask your question there, and it will be answered on a first come, first serve basis. So you see all of these other questions that I have here that are highlighted. These are questions that I haven't yet gotten to, which means that I still have to read these. Is that in Spanish? What was that? This is in Spanish. I still have to do these first before I can get to your question, okay? Because it's a first come, first serve form. Now, for those of you who are not wanting to wait, you can see they're kind of old here, these questions. For those of you that don't want to wait too long to get your question answered, there's another way to submit your question to me and get your question answered for a speedy instead of having to wait, it's like skipping the line, right? So this is what we call our premium relationship advice forum, our section. This is like a skip the line pass because I read out the premium questions before I go to the free section. Now, the way that you're going to be able to skip the line if you don't want to wait is by going to the link in my bio on TikTok or my description on YouTube. Click where it says premium Discord relationship advice. It's going to prompt you to donate to the show. In your donation, it's also going to ask you to put in your Discord username and the title of your question, what it's going to be. That way, I get a notification on my phone when you send in your donation. I can see that that's you and that's your question. And then it keeps it fair for everyone because since you're getting to skip the line, we want to make sure that you're actually doing what you're supposed to do in order to be able to do that. Now, the other way to submit your question is for those of you who are wanting to get my opinion of your situation or circumstance, but you don't want to have your information all read out on the show because obviously this is live and this is being broadcasted. So if that's you, you can also hit the private relationship advice link, which is in our Discord. It's also available in the link in my bio on TikTok or the description on YouTube. Click where it says private relationship advice. You can ask me a question by submitting it and typing it out as many paragraphs as you want. When you submit it to me, only I see it. I read it through. I respond with a voice message, usually 8 to 10 minutes long. And then I give you your advice or perspective if need be. Okay. And lots of detail. Let's hop up to our first question of the day. I did this one, right? Yeah. I made sure to respond to Miss Pansy here. All right, let's hop into our first question of the day. Today's question comes from Nene, okay? So Nene says, oops, I may have been too far. Okay. Hey, Tomisin, I'm 20, talking to a 29-year-old man. Yes, I know. We've been dating for about, oops, what am I doing here? Why is this like this? Let's make this like that. Okay, nice and wide here. Okay, there we go. Sorry, chat, just making sure the spacing is good for you all. Okay. What the hell? Is that better for you guys? That spacing kind of weird. You guys can't see that on YouTube. That's what I'm trying, or on TikTok. Trying to make it nice and there we go. That's better. And I'll move this over here. Sorry, chat. I just want to make sure you're all able to see everything. I don't want you guys. There we go for you all on TikTok. Yeah, there we go. That's better. And then I'll make this a little bit smaller. It's a little bit zoomed in, right? There we go. Okay. So, oops, I may have gone too far. I think you meant to say. So we've been dating for we've been dating for about 1 week and half 2 weeks. What? Wait, we've been dating for about 1 week and a half. See 2 weeks. Wait, what? Okay, so you've been dating for 2 weeks. I'm like, sorry, the way you were saying that was okay. English is not my first language. Yeah, I assume so. In advance, sorry for the mistakes. We met at a gym. We made eye contact, and he came to see me. We talked during the session. He helped me and gave me his Instagram. But our conversation outside the room remained very light. I have only initiated twice, in particular to ask for details on the programming of our workouts. In addition, of our workouts? What do you mean our workouts? Is he a trainer or something? Okay. In addition, there was a small period when I went to Paris for a few days and we had no contact during this time. I mean, you guys just met at the gym, right? It's not like you guys would be messaging that much. We saw each other twice at the gym and it was very good. As I said, he's used to receiving compliments, to being asked about his networks and being told that he's handsome. And he likes to play on the teasing tone. So he likes to tease you. Sometimes he throws remarks at me like, I'm going to block you. That's an interesting way to tease you. As if he expected me to run after him or react impulsively, to respond to the previous provocations? Okay, provocations. So like him just provoking you in other ways. I tell him, ironically, block me. Honestly, this game doesn't really make me laugh. It wouldn't make me laugh either. It's kind of weird. Of course, when you tell me there is always a context, but it doesn't change the fact that I still find it weird. I think it's weird also. That's weird. Today, he did it again. So after, I think I'm going to say that, I hung up. I mean, it needs to say after that situation. I posted a story from when I was in Paris in which we saw a guy in the background. You mean there was a guy in the background, which seemed to be a subtle way to prove to him that I am not at his disposal. He might also think that that's your man. Shortly after, I sent him a photo of my outfit. What? And we talked about it on the phone. Okay. That's when he answered me, "Thank you, Tasha," in reference to the Power series where Tasha's character is cheating on her husband. Not immediately understanding the meaning of the nickname, I asked him what it meant. He then answered that I had to watch the series to understand, before ending the conversation with a dry good night. I didn't answer and I just liked the message. It's kind of a weird sense of humor he has. I don't even know if that's sense of humor. It just sounds weird. I don't know what to do. What do you think of the situation? What do you think he thinks? And what do you think I should do or not do? I feel I went a little far with what? Oh, the posting? But I still want him to understand that I'm not at his disposition and that I will never run after him. Thank you for your opinion. So here's the thing, Nene. This is a very weird situation. I'm not getting the vibe that he's necessarily interested in anything past just like casually flirting with you. Because not once in this message did you talk about the idea of him asking you out on a date. So cool, he's calling you Tasha because you posted a story with a guy in a background. But if he has if he cares that much about what you're doing in your spare time, then he should probably figure out how he can be the one that's taking up your time instead of making slick remarks from the outside looking in. I just think it's very childish. You said he's what, 29? So it's like at 29, if you meet a girl and you like her, why don't you ask her out on a date? If you're going to not ask a girl out on a date that you're interested in, and then you're going to complain about her posting stories with other men, then just get over yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. I believe you went on a trip, right? You went to a different country, right? But at the same time, it's like, if he wants you, then he should express that he wants you. If he's not going to do that, you can't overly worry yourself about the fact that he's not able to express, because it almost sounds like he's kind of like glitching in the sense of like, because he wants you, but he's not saying it, he's expressing himself in very weird and strange ways, right? In a very childish way, even more than that. But it's like, at the same time, what are you supposed to do with that? Nothing. I don't think there's anything for you to do. And in fact, I would honestly advise you stop calling him, stop speaking on the phone with him, stop messaging him, unless he's going to specifically say, I'm messaging for you for the purpose of asking you out or taking you out on a date. It's starting to make me feel like this is just going to be another one of those pen pal situations. You see him at the gym. Maybe he'll flirt with you a little bit at the gym. Maybe he'll message you every now and again, but I don't see a path to him actually taking you out or asking you out. If that's the case, stop wasting your time on the phone with this guy. It's a big waste of your time. Okay. So leave it be. Unless he's going to start asking you out to go out, then don't even waste your time. Okay. All right, let's hop into our next question here. This one comes from Barry Lana. Okay. Need your help. Red flag, red flag. Hi, Tomisin. So I went on a date with this guy. It was really nice. He picked me up and we went out for dinner. We talked a lot. Though after your last, I'm assuming you said answer or message, I feel like I might have talked too much. No trauma dumping, just funny stories. But he kept asking questions and said he liked listening to me. That's the exact tactic that I actually want you to be using. So you fell for it. Okay. See how easy it is to fall for that tactic? It's very easy. I asked him questions as well. The next day he texted me and we chatted a little. Then on my birthday, he sent me a birthday message. I thanked him. He sent another message, but I didn't reply. So the conversation kind of ended naturally. On our date, he told me he was going on a ski trip. Yeah. With his friends for a week. And now he's in Italy skiing. What? Is there snow in Italy right now? I'm confused. My geography is very confused. But ever since he left, I haven't heard from him. It's been 6 days now. There's ski slopes in Italy at this time of the year. The Italian Alps. Okay, interesting. And he hasn't texted me at all, which feels a bit strange. I don't know how to handle this. At this stage, is it normal that he's just enjoying his trip and I shouldn't worry? Just wait and see if he reaches out when he's back. Or do you think he should have checked in and I should just let him go? I need your advice. Thanks in advance. So you said, how long have you guys been talking? Oh, you didn't mention it here again. But here's the thing. If you're early in your talking stage with this guy, don't sweat yourself about it. He's going on his trip. Like you said, it's been 6 days. My whole thing is if someone doesn't reach out to you in 14 days, so 2 weeks is the absolute maximum for any reason whatsoever, that if someone doesn't reach out to you in a 2-week time span, not once, then just let them go and move on. Because whether they're on a trip, whether they're on vacation, whether they're doing whatever they're doing, if they can't be bothered to even check in with you in 2 weeks, then it definitely means that they're not even in a place where they're at all willing to be or trying to be consistent with you. The reason I say 2 weeks is because even in trips, sometimes people can take a trip for 6 days, for 7 days, for 8 days. But once you get to that 2-week span, that anything more than that, there's no more excuses for that. Even if someone, goes through a death in the family, even if someone goes through something insanely crazy, there is no scenario in which more than 2 weeks is necessary to reach out to you. Okay. Some of you are like, 2 weeks is too much. I'm giving you guys that as the absolute limit to what I wouldn't even say that you should allow someone to come back into your life after that point. Him going on a trip, so be it. I don't know how long you guys have been dating. If it's still in the early stages, like first couple of weeks, or even like, you guys have went on less than 5 dates, then it's not necessarily super weird that he would go on a trip and maybe not message you if you guys have only been on less than a handful of dates. I'm not saying it's natural, but what I'm also saying is I don't think it's necessary to freak out if he comes back from the trip and then he continues to message you. You know what I mean? Sometimes in the early stages, you just have to give people space to grow into their desire to see you and speak to you. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, there's a limit to that. But what you also don't want to do is you don't want to be the person saying, please talk to me more. Why aren't you talking to me more? I feel like you should talk to me more. Let, especially guys, grow into their own desire to see you and their own frequency of how much they want to see you and speak to you. Now, obviously, the limit is anything more than 2 weeks. If he's not even going to reach out at all, then that obviously means his interest is super low, not even in a place where you can work with that. So let's see how long this lasts, number one. And let's also see if he does message you after the trip. So for example, if he's going to come back on day 8, or whatever the case may be, and then he messages you, I don't think that you have so much to worry about. Let's see how it goes when he's actually there. But just something to look out for, okay? Let's hop into our next question, okay? This one comes from Island Girl, okay? From Island Girl, just a thank you from a queen. Tomisin, last night, regular weekly country dance night, a somewhat pretty girl kept flirting on the dance floor with a particular guy I was dancing with, one of my regular dance partners, and I had a choice to make. Get jealous, watch to see if he responded to her as she grabbed and waved at him on the dance floor, as I have in the past, or remember that she's a peasant, and of course, they will all try to perform and impress my suitors. I remembered for the first time, and directly due to your classes, that I am at the actual queen, and it didn't bother me even at all. Even if he was responding, I don't know if he did, I just kept dancing and having a good time. I distinctively, I think you meant to say distinctively, recalled your example of the king not minding that all the men in the kingdom tried to impress his wife. It felt so good to have this perspective. Genuinely felt it. I will never go back. This is good. This is a great message. And it's good for your mentality to shift because guys also see your response to them and to situations like that, right? And they see how bothered or unbothered you are. And the reality of it is men tend to chase after the women who are the most unbothered versus the women who are the most bothered. Because when you're unbothered, you actually give men space to be bothered themselves about you and concerning you. When you're very bothered, you give men less space to be concerned about you because you're all up on their body, as the kids say. So Island Girl, it's a very good realization to have. And it'll also get you a lot of a different response from men when you adopt that mentality into your dating stage. And it's not about, oh, I'm just going to show men I don't give a damn, I don't care about them, and whatever the case may be. You just have to understand the more space you give someone to come to you, especially as a woman, the better for you. Because men actually like the dynamic in which they can come to you when they're ready. They don't, even though they might say they do, they don't like the dynamic as much when you're smothering them. It's just not, it's not hot to them. It's not seductive to them. It's not feminine to them. Okay. So I love that you're adopting this new mentality and you're actually becoming more unbothered. Okay. Someone said I was just about to text him until you said this. Thank you. Perfect. I'm so glad you didn't. All right, let's hop into our next question here. Okay, so let me make sure I'm not skipping anything. Okay, so we're going to start off with T-Hat, all right? T-Hat here says, Tomisin, the real GOAT. I'm 29 and he's 38. I bless the day I came across you, Tomisin. I can't believe using your teachings has made me get to this stage whereby I was telling my man last week that our relationship is boring. He should let us go on vacations rather than we going on dates over and over again. I was just trying to pull his legs and hear what he'll say. Despite me knowing he's so busy with work and can't be chanced for 3 days vacations. So I think he must say like can't be bothered for a 3-day vacation. Tomisin, I can't believe his response. He said, T-Hat, you want to leave me? You are tired of us? And you know my work won't make me have that time? Please bear with me. Have never been in a shoe, whereby I'm asking for more, and the guy is scared like I will leave him if he doesn't dance to my tune. Oh, so you're just saying like I've never experienced that before. Another level of your teachings has got to me is that he always does the callings every morning around 6 a.m. to make me laugh. And we do, I think you might say, just chat for about 30 minutes or an hour at times. Last week, Sunday, I didn't get his call. And me not doing the calling, but always happy to see him call in the morning, as usual, was already anxious. Not really, probably like 10%. Not like before, where I never came across you when I was in some relationships where I got anxious 101%. Then I called him around 1 p.m. to say hello. Guess what, Tomisin? He said, I should have called you, babe, but I'm so sick. Tomisin, you can't know what that means to me. For a guy to see it as his duty to always put a call through to me, like me? Yes, you. I know what I've gone through in past relationships where once a guy didn't call, I will be blaming myself for him not calling, thinking I did something wrong. TBC in this comment below, to be continued. Even before he got to this stage of him always making sure he checks up on me the first thing in the morning, when we started dating, that I don't return back calls energy, that I just do my thing. Wait, what? One day, he didn't call me for like 2 days, and I didn't call back too. I think men do this intentionally to know your anxiousness level or how emotionally committed you are with them already. Then he called the third day and he made one statement like this: T-Hat, if someone doesn't check up on you, you don't also care. That's nice. Oh. What? Like, I think you must say that's nice too. Tomisin, that was when I knew I'm putting all your teachings into actions. I never believe I can be the bigger person ever in a relationship. Have had a lot of low self-esteem back in the days. Now, the man I have now is trying to sit right or knows I will tell him goodbye. I also overcooked jollof rice by mistake one. I'm sorry. It's just funny. I just wasn't expecting you to say that. Okay. All right. You overcooked jollof rice. That's all right. And you couldn't set a timer. And I didn't care and took it to him. You took to him the overcooked jollof rice. All right, you in a different state of mind, girl. Okay. Because I already promised to bring him food to his office. He just told me that, babe, the food is overcooked. Next time you will compensate me by bringing another one that you cooked better. I can't do that to my ex. Wait, what? He will judge me and call me names. Oh, you're saying that you would never be able to do that to your ex, like bring him overcooked food and call me names that my mom didn't train me well. So I'm assuming you're Nigerian. I'm assuming. I've never heard a Nigerian named T-Hat. Okay, interesting. Despite the fact that maybe you're not Nigerian because you overcooked jollof rice. Despite the fact that I have always perfect things for him and overdoing the girlfriend role for him. You're talking about your ex. Tomisin, you made me realize a man that wants you will want you by doing nothing, or you not trying to be perfect. Tomisin, at the time, you always capitalize my name. It's pretty funny. At the time when I realized where I have gotten to in a relationship and I finally feel happy, I usually pray for you. Oh, thank you. And the prayer is the universe will always place you, your helper, at the exact time when you need them. Because I came across your page the second week I met my man. We are going to be a year in a few months, and my man is not tired of me. In a previous relationship, they get tired probably on month 3. Tomisin, every capitalization. I will always be grateful to you. God bless you. We are planning a marriage soon. Damn. Please, should I keep on with the same energy even when I get married? For sure. Why change it when it's been working, right? I don't think, obviously there are some adjustments that get made, but why would you change what's been working for you? Because you're setting a dynamic up for the future. So if it's working for both of you, then it's working for both of you. Why change it? Or it should end in the dating stage. Another question, Tomisin. My boyfriend driver has toasted me some years ago and I declined. What do you mean toasted you? Like a drink? Toast? And that was the only day I met him before. Let's give that my toaster that happens to be my boyfriend's driver named Mr. T. Okay. Oh, people said asked her out. Okay, sorry. I don't know. I didn't know what toasted means in your culture. It obviously means something different. So he asked you out. Your boyfriend's driver asked you out? What? Then last year, I met my man. I realized that Mr. T happens to be my boyfriend's driver and personal assistant. Okay, that's quite a coincidence. Then immediately I started dating my man. I told my man that Mr. T has toasted me before, but I declined him. That's great, actually. It's great, actually, a great story to tell him that you don't deal with peasants. Not saying that his driver's a peasant, but it's good for his ego to be like, yeah, I denied him, right? So that's good. I asked my man if Mr. T told him he toasted me before. My man said no, that guys do not tell on themselves like that. Now I notice anytime he comes to drop my boyfriend on our dates or come pick him up after our dates, he feels so reluctant to answer my greetings. At times he frowns his face. Well, you have to understand, maybe he's also embarrassed, right? Someone said, aren't you Nigerian? We don't say, well, where I'm from, I'm Yoruba, so we don't say toasted as asking someone out. That's not where I'm from. We don't say that. He's also might be embarrassed about the fact that probably when he asked you out, you didn't know that he is a driver. So it's a little bit probably embarrassing for him to ask a girl out, and then that same girl is now dating his boss and is like seeing that like he, that's his job, is to drive the girl around, right? So to drive the boss around, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit, Before I forgot to add this, the second week of our relationship, my man told Mr. T to go pick me up in my house for our date. While we were going, he made one statement that, T-Hat, be careful with my boss. Don't make the mistake of falling in love with him. Of course he would say that. What do you think his motivations are in that? You have to be careful of taking advice from people who have ulterior motives, which is a lot of people. Someone who asked you out on a date himself probably has an ulterior motive to just your well-being. So just keep that in mind, right? I asked him, is it because you've asked me out before? He just smiled and said nothing. So yes. Right now, anytime my man tells him to come pick me up pick me up to his place, it's either he delays like 4 hours later or does not come pick me up at all. Okay. That's kind of not that he's not doing his job, right? And starts giving flimsy excuses. That's not a good driver. I'm tired. My BF is tired. Now, my question is, should I tell my BF the statement he made, that I should not fall in love, talk less of saying, I want to get married to my man? Thank you, Thompson. Here's the thing. I do think that in this situation, the person you owe loyalty to is your man, like your boyfriend, more than the driver, at least. So I would tell like that's making me uncomfortable, because it's one thing for the driver to have asked you out and whatever, it didn't work out and move forward. It's another thing for the driver to have asked you out and then his jealousy towards his boss and the fact that you're now dating his boss is affecting his ability to do his job well as the driver. Because this type of I'll tell you something as a boss, right? You never want people that you employ to have some sort of underlying resentment towards you. It's very bad, okay? The reason for that is because that underlying resentment will grow and grow and grow over the course of time. And then they'll start doing things like stealing money from you or doing things to sabotage you because of that resentment. So I actually think you'd be doing your man a favor if you start to communicate what's going on behind the scenes with his driver, because if you're noticing this and this is happening and it's stemming a lot from that resentment that he has towards his boss, you don't ever want a situation where the sabotage becomes life-threatening or even more dangerous because that resentment is continuing to grow. Because it's worrying me that he's allowing this jealousy or this feeling of like, oh, my boss don't deserve you, I should be with you, or whatever the case may be, to actually affect his ability to do his job well. That he's, showing up late and not coming to pick you up or following instructions as he's supposed to for his job, because that's his job, right? So that concerns me, and I think you should make it be known to your boyfriend so that he can understand that and figure out how he's going to, treat that accordingly. I'm not saying you got to tell him, hey, fire your driver or whatever the case may be, but tell him exactly what you just told me in this message and communicate that to him, and I'm sure he will probably make the best decision for everyone, okay? And for everyone's well-being. All right, let's go on to our next question here. Okay. This one comes from LP Baby. All right, so this one says, Thompson, please advise. Hi, Tommy. What is the best way to properly apologize I am going to apologize to Mr. Salsa Man in person this week, and I already apologized earlier as well. He reached out to me to apologize first and wants to take me out on an activity date and get me flowers. I left a lot of information from my previous post, but believe me that he definitely needed to apologize, so I'm standing on this, and that's why he reached out to me to apologize and make up. Yes, I did drop the ball by not communicating and can be accountable to him and want to properly apologize to him. I do owe him this, and I sincerely want to make it right. So just to clear, for some of you who are confused, we have ongoing sagas in our Players Club. So LP Baby is dealing with the situation where she showed up to her guy that she's dating, not her boyfriend yet, but she's been dating this guy for a couple of months, and she showed up to his birthday party with an hour left in the birthday party. You didn't hear what I said. I didn't say an hour late. She showed up with an hour left in the birthday party. So there was only an hour remaining, okay? So they're dealing with basically the aftermath of that. Regardless of the outcome between him and I, out of respect for him as a person and as a man, I want to make it right. So far, I'm going to start off by saying I'm very sorry for how my actions hurt you and take full accountability and want to make amends. Oh, by the way, for her situation, she showed up late because of work. It was a work situation. That was the reason she showed up that late. Amends, and that I'll listen to what he has to say, and depending on what he wants, I'll make reasonable adjustments. So I guess this is our first fight, and I take accountability for my part and would like your perspective. Also, you mentioned fight languages in my previous shows, and I wanted to know if you could speak on specific examples to avoid crashing out. Can you speak on fight languages? What are fight languages? What are healthy fight languages? May you please give some examples? So fight languages are essentially like love languages, but essentially instead of it being like, how do I like to be loved? It's what works best for me when I'm upset or angry, and how do I like to be dealt with? For example, for some people, when they're in an argument or when they're really upset, they really need to be left alone. Like really need, desperately, please don't speak to me. Don't smother me. Don't continue to ask me what's wrong. I'm already upset. I need to process my feelings and my emotions. I need to, organize them, categorize them. That way, when I come back to you, I can deliver them to you in an organized fashion. And I also don't, have all the vitriol and spew all of these hurtful words along with my communication to you, right? Because for some people, if they just talk as they feel in the moment, one, they won't be able to communicate their feelings properly to you, and it'll be a lot more hurtful than if they hold it in and categorize their feelings. So some people need to be left alone. For some people, their fight language is when they're really upset, they like to be like coddled and held. They need physical touch during that time. They need to feel your presence. They need to feel like you really care. They want the opposite of being left alone, right? For some people, they're chatters. So they need to, chat the whole thing as they feel it, right when they feel it, and get it off their chest. They can't hold anything in for even a moment, right? So they're constantly talking about their feelings to resolve it, right? For everyone is a little bit different. There aren't necessarily like, oh, these are all the specific fight languages, but you have to get good at understanding and learning someone, how they best respond or what their natural response is to an argument or a situation, and then also having a conversation with them about literally saying, look, when you're upset, how do you like to be dealt with, right? This also takes self-awareness on your own part, meaning that if you're in a situation where you're upset or where you've been upset and someone asks you as well, how do you like to be dealt with? You also have to be self-aware enough to know how you like to be dealt with when you're very upset. I'll give you an example. For myself, I'm like how I mentioned earlier. And when I'm upset, you have to leave me alone. Like I understand how to I'm like my own therapist. So I understand how to process my emotions, but I need time to do that. That takes a moment. I can't just deliver to you everything that I'm thinking in the moment. Even if I try to, it won't come out clearly. You won't properly understand what I mean, and I won't even feel resolved because I won't address everything that I want to address properly. If you give me some hours or even maybe a day to think about how I feel and process what I feel, the way I will communicate with you will be so much better. You'll understand me so much more. It'll be so much more clear, and I and you will feel so much more resolved and less, resentment. Okay. But I have to have that time to not talk to you. So that's my response, right? I have to not speak to you, and I do not want to be smothered during that time, right? You can say, you know, are you ready? Whatever, whenever you're ready and things like that, but do not smother me or try to rush the process of me speaking to you because you're anxious or upset or whatever the case may be. That's how I respond to fights. So that's my fight language. And explaining someone how to deal with me, it would be helping them understand that if you just give me some time to process, I will be able to come back to you and tell you exactly how I'm feeling. If you smother me though, it's not going to work out well because I'll be upset. I won't be able to process, and then I won't be able to give you what you want, which is clear communication where you understand what I'm feeling and what is wrong. Do you understand? So that process takes self-awareness on your part and his part so that both of you can kind of describe how you like to be dealt with. It also takes experience in knowing what you respond the best to, and something you just kind of have to feel out and learn over the course of time, right? There's not just like a set amount of different fight languages. You have to decide what do you respond the best to, and also what is a version of compromise that works in terms of you being able to give someone what they want, which is clear communication or an understanding of what you feel or what you need, while also allowing yourself the space to deal with things how you naturally deal with things. Let me give you an example. Me, as someone who needs to be able to take the time and space away to be able to categorize my feelings and emotions, I also need to be mindful that the person that I'm taking time and space away from is also going to be, you know, a little bit anxious while waiting for me to categorize and organize my feelings. I have to be empathetic towards that and understand that if I take too long, then that person will get extremely anxious and extremely confused, and that's not good for either of us, right? I have to also, in the process of processing my emotions, be understanding that if I need to use this time efficiently, so that it's not lasting 3, 4, 5 days, right? 1 week of me continuing the process. There has to be a compromise there of allowing them to also, you know, they are giving me space, so they're doing something for me, but also understanding how to do it in an efficient way so that I come back to them without leaving them with a whole bunch of unanswered questions. Does that make sense, right? So that's how you kind of go about that. So the conversation is the very first start. How do you like to be dealt with when you're very, very upset? Okay. Let's go on to our next. Those are good questions. Let's go on to our next question here. Let's see. This one comes from Ellie. Ellie. Okay. Texting balance. Question and advice. Okay. Hi, Tomisin. Love your vids. Been here from the start. I have a dedicated time for your vids, and I even take notes. Sending love. Love you too. Tomisin, I'm a YouTuber in the entertainment niche. I am quite big in my country. Need to mention that all of us other YouTubers are in a very tight-knitted space, meaning everyone knows everyone. We're all friendly and have mutual respect. You should send me your channel because I don't know what your channel is. You should send me a message of your channel. After my ex, I didn't make myself available to anyone. I also have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of women YouTubers or content creators are watching my stuff. Sneaky suspicion. After my ex, I didn't make myself available to anyone. I was purely focusing on healing and no contact. I'm doing well for myself now. You have been a good reason for my inner level up journey, so I keep you in my prayers. Wow, everyone praying for me. I appreciate that. I have been focused. Maybe that's why I'm experiencing such good things in life. Okay, pray y'all praying for me. I have been focusing purely on my career for the last 3 years. Didn't go on dates and didn't really let anyone in. I'm not boasting, but I believe I'm a really desirable woman physically, and yeah, I consider myself hard to get. I get millions of DMs from guys. Oh, okay. So you a content creator. I get millions of DMs from guys, but I only have Insta for business and promotional purposes for my YouTube. Meaning I want my husband to make real efforts to pursue me naturally in person. So basically, I like this YouTuber. Let's call him Chris. Okay. I've been having a crush on him way before my whole career. He even watched my vids and even reacted to one of my vids live once. Interesting. It's been all mutual respect. We first ran into each other during a boxing event. We greeted, hugged, etc. But I had to dip because we were both in VIPs, but our seats were miles apart. But it was a very busy time. Okay. I've been wanting to invite him for a collab. What type of collab? In fact, he's been on my list way before my career began to skyrocket. Last year was a pivotal year of my career. I've had many big names on my channel and gained a life bigger than I ever dreamt of. Now you're making me curious. What's your channel? I could invite him, and I know he would come and we would have a great time. Not only that his personality and mine would go well, it'll be the best thing for my channel. He's so funny as well. Chat, she's not talking about me. Sometimes I feel like sometimes you guys hear the stories and think someone's not talking about me. The thing is, I can invite him, but I know the intentions I have. I like him. I don't want to make it obvious. I want this to be the opening door to get to know each other. In that way, potentially would get him to pursue me. Am I wrong in thinking like this? I wouldn't say you're wrong in thinking like that, but the thing that I'm worried about is because this collab is obviously good for your channel, but it's also good for you to get a little bit of an introduction in meeting him. The thing that you also have to understand is, this is going to sound very spiritual, but sometimes when you want something so bad, that's when it will come to you the least. So the reason I'm saying that is I would hope, even if he does come onto your channel, just feel out the vibes, right? Even if you collab, try and be your natural self. Try not to put so much pressure on yourself emotionally that this has to go so well and so amazing that you guys end up falling in love after this one collaboration. The reason I say that is because you'll actually repel him away if your energy when you first meet him, let's say you do collab with him, is like, oh my gosh, everything needs to be perfect. I need to say the perfect things. I need to do the perfect thing. Because even in your collab with him, you don't want to come across as this weird, inauthentic version of yourself, because all you're thinking about the entire time is how to respond perfectly, how to do everything perfect, how to say everything perfect, because all of that will come across in your energy. And you don't want that at all either, right? It's also going to make him feel like, oh, maybe she's not who I'm looking for because I don't like her vibe. That's why I'm saying try not to put so much pressure on yourself for this meeting to be the way that you guys fall in love. You know what I mean? And if anything, someone actually brought up a great thing. Jazz says, don't put him on a pedestal. A great way to not put a man on a pedestal is, if you can, when you meet him, try and get him to tell you some stories about things that are a little bit embarrassing for him, or things that don't make him look so amazing, like stories of him and his past relationship or whatever the case may be. It's a great way to bring a man that you have on a pedestal back down to earth when you realize he makes mistakes. Because if he can tell you about the mistakes that he makes, you'll realize he's a human being with flaws and emotions and quirks that you might not be super attracted to. It's actually great. I am not desperate for him or would make any moves. Damn, I really want some sushi. However, I will use slight flirtatious gestures to let him know. That's it. Just so you know, we would be doing a race across the country video. What type of YouTube are you, like Mrs. Beast? A race across the country video? You must have millions of subscribers if you're putting that much into okay. All right, you YouTubing. Meaning, I'll have a few hours with him. Yeah, you will. I know you've advised us ladies to not spend hours in the beginning. Well, you're filming a show, right? Like if your YouTube episode's kind of like a show. So yeah, you're kind of like, it's kind of like a version of being on set, you know, like on a movie or a TV show, right? But having my YouTube content style, I can't really do anything about it. I understand that. However, I'll keep it short in the best of my abilities. I think what you should more be focused on is just coming across as your natural self and not trying overly hard to be like this perfect version of you, because you guys are doing this collaboration. He's a man of God, respectful, charismatic, and genuinely a kind, loving person. I want to get to know who he really is. Also, I want everything to happen in person. I'm so busy, I genuinely don't have time to call or chat over the phone. That's good, according to you, so great. That is great. If also, keep in mind too, if he's emotionally intelligent enough, for most men, they'll be able to pick up on whether or not you're flirting with them or you vibe with them. I know me personally, I pick up like instantly if a girl is into me. It's not very hard to pick up on. So I can hear specific type of rhetoric and specific type of words. You just get the understanding that this person's into me. Assuming this guy's emotionally intelligent, if you just throw a couple of feelers out there, do just a little bit of flirting, you don't have to go over the top, he'll get the gist of the fact that you guys are vibing, especially if he's already feeling you himself and that you're kind of into him as well, assuming he has some emotional intelligence, okay? The reason why I have mixed feelings about this is because I know I like him. And obviously, if he comes over to my channel, he'll be my guest. So I must be hospitable and make sure he's all right. What do you mean by that? Meaning taking charge, paying, etc. I don't want that to subconsciously give him the idea that I'll be doing the most for him if we were dating potentially in the future. Tomisin, please give me an in-depth response as per how I must act when I have him on my channel. I am inviting him regardless if I like him or not to benefit my channel. I'm sure it's for your channel. So the reason, okay, here's the thing. You're 100% right. If you're going to be hosting him, like he's going to be a guest on your show or on your channel, then yeah, like being courteous and, paying for things and like, helping him understand what you need would be ideal. Like you're not going to do this or invite him to your channel and be like, I'm the woman, you're supposed to be asking me out and paying. Like that doesn't make any sense. So yes, for this, you should be doing that. Now, here's the thing. If you want to set the record straight, make it very clear that the purpose of this is for you guys to, have him be a host on your channel, or sorry, have him be a guest on your channel. And maybe if he wants, you can be a guest on his channel as well, whatever the case may be. But the reason I'm saying this is because you want to create a distinction between we're doing this for personal reasons versus we're doing this for the purpose of the show. Excuse me. So what I don't want is I don't want you to invite him and then say, hey, let's go out for dinner. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now you're mixing it. But if you invite him for the show and then he says, let's go out for dinner, perfect. Okay? So part of this process, one, you're going to be your natural self. But also when he does come, you need to feel it out as well. Is he feeling this vibe? Does he even sound or is talking like he wants to get know you more or spend a little bit more time with you or take you out outside of this? If he doesn't bring any of that up, I don't want you saying a word. Okay? Because even from this meeting of you guys, being in person and him collaborating and coming on your channel, he should still be the one leading in the sense of, I want to get to know you on a more personal level. If you don't hear that come out of his mouth, if you don't hear him talking like, hey, so what are you doing for dinner? Hey, are you available next week? Hey, I really enjoyed this. I'd love to see you again, even if it's not for, being on your channel. If you don't hear him actually say that and be that direct, then don't say anything. Let it just be about the collaboration. That way you don't feel like you're having to pursue and you're not even in the position of the pursuer. Because we don't want you, like you mentioned, we don't want you hosting him on your show, on your channel, to become you pursuing him or courting him. So we have to make sure when you do this, it's for the purpose of the job, it's for the purpose of the show, for your channel. But if you guys are going to see each other again for personal reasons, it's because he is the one mentioning it. He's the one bringing it up and he's the one facilitating it. Meaning you guys shouldn't be seeing each other after this unless he specifically asks you out. So when you start meeting him and chatting with him, if you're noticing he's not bringing up at all this entire time the idea of you guys going out and getting to know each other more or spending more time with each other, you do not bring up or say a word about it. And unfortunately, that also means that if you guys have this whole hangout and spend all this time together and he doesn't once mention seeing you again and he goes home after that and he's just like, thank you for your time, I appreciate you, you're not going to see him again. I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, like it could go either way, like this is such a big deal, but you're not going to see him again. Why? Because the only way for you to see him again after that is for you to continue pursuing, which I never want you to do. So here in this situation, we're going to have to throw out some feelers and he's either going to take the bait and he's going to start pursuing you or he's not. And if he doesn't, we're not going to press after that. Okay. All right. Let's go into our next question here. All righty. This question comes from Jenna. Okay. Like Jenna in our, oh wow, there's a lot of responses here. All right, let's scroll all the way up here. Oh my goodness. All right. So Jenna says, self-respect and tolerance. Thank you for reading. I appreciate your time. You gave me advice to be obsessed with my self-respect because there are certain people in my life who are only there to cause chaos 100%. I am wondering, how can I increase my self-respect because I seem to be tolerant and patient with people. There is a pattern where people are aware of my forgiveness and understanding, but will still let their insecurities get in the way of our friendship. Can I have your advice on how I can build up my self-respect to the point where I can predict betrayal and become distant before it happens? Do I need to be more independent and confident? I'm not afraid of leaving people, but when it comes to females specifically, I'm way more forgiving with them than I would be with a man. Being kind can bite me in the butt sometimes, and I want to know, how can I be very firm on protecting myself? I don't want to come across as tarnishing, but my fear is being in a pick-me woman's presence. Your advice is appreciated. Okay, so I think that was like the extent of it, and you guys were responding to each other after that. Here's the thing, Jenna, two things. First of all, unfortunately, you can't really control what other people choose to do or not do. In a perfect world, of course, we'd be able to make sure that everyone treats us a very specific way and no one treats us any other way outside of that. But in our real lives, it's just impossible to control other people's actions towards you. You can recognize them and respond to them accordingly, but you're never going to be able to control people. So the very first thing in order to do this correctly is actually to let go of your desire to control the outcome of situations. I'm going to say it again. You have to first let go of your desire to control the outcome of situations in situations that you cannot fully control. So whenever it comes to people and the way that they choose to show up or not show up for you, the way that they choose to treat you or mistreat you, you have to realize you can't control that outcome. You can do your best to put your best foot forward, like having your self-respect, like you mentioned, like setting good boundaries, like you mentioned, like keeping your word, like we talked about, right? And all of that good stuff. But you also have to understand, even within that, some people will still come into your life to use and abuse you, okay? And take advantage of you. That's just the reality of life. What you have to also realize is part number two, one, you can't control the outcome, but also you have to let go of the I guess we can say, desire to see people as evil or bad for taking advantage of you. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to sound very weird, okay? Let's just stay with me. It's going to sound very weird and strange to all of you. People are not bad people because they take advantage of you. They take advantage of you because they're self-serving. But the reality of it is, to an extent, all of us are self-serving, meaning we serve ourselves first before we start thinking about how to do more for others. That's just the reality. You have to be self-serving in order to survive. Just the reality. So the reason I say that is reframing the way you think about people who are taking advantage of you will actually change the amount of hurt and pain you feel when someone betrays you or takes advantage of you. Why? Because you'll recognize it's not about me, right? Like, it's not about me or the reason you think I'm such a vulnerable target or how you want to mistreat me or any of that. It's simply because you're self-serving, the same way anyone else in life would be self-serving. So what are you doing? You're meeting me and you're figuring out how you can extract from me to get something that serves you, even if it doesn't benefit me or it makes my life actively worse. The reality of it is, you know what? We're all selfish to an extent, and we all have to be selfish to an extent. So the idea that you would come and you would look for a way that you can take advantage of me so you can get something out of it, even if it hurts me, doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. It just makes it that you're thinking of yourself and not thinking about how things affect me. Now, obviously, you probably lack a little bit of empathy if you're only thinking about how to succeed and you're never thinking about how it affects others. But at the same time, you have to understand that that's human beings. They're going to be self-serving. And if you are so hurt by the idea that people will be self-serving, or you're in so much pain about people coming across you and being self-serving, you'll never realize that is how life is going to be. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your life has to be bad, because people in your life will be self-serving. What I want to kind of help you reshape in your thinking is that Your worst relationships will be people coming into your life who are self-serving, take advantage of you, and then it hurts you in the process of them being self-serving. But your best relationships will still be self-serving. It'll just be that it serves you in a positive way, and it also simultaneously serves the other person in a positive way. There is mutual benefit, whether it be a friendship or a relationship. So what I kind of want you to reshape and redirect your thinking into is, rather than how do I avoid people who are self-serving, because you're always going to meet people who are self-serving in one way, shape, or another, how can I align myself with relationships and friendships that are mutually self-serving? Meaning they serve me in a particular way that helps me and benefits me, and I also serve them in a particular way that helps them and benefits them. And together, we can serve each other in ways that satisfy both of our needs and allow us to both get something out of this situation. I think that way of rethinking and restructuring your brain will help you have good relationships with a lot of people and a variety of people. Rather than feeling taken advantage of, you'll figure out how do I get what I need from you, but how do I also give you whatever it is you're looking for. And also having honest conversations with people about the ways they would like to be served and the ways that you need to be served will also bring a lot of clarity. Because I think some of the confusion can also come from you thinking, hey, I'm not sure what you want from me, but I feel like you're taking advantage of me, or vice versa. Versus coming into a situation, whether it be a friendship or a relationship, and having clear and honest conversations about what both of you need, and then figuring out how do you guys both serve those needs and those purposes in each other's lives, right? And you can have friends and romantic partners that are like that. Even a romantic relationship in its best, most healthiest sense is self-serving for each individual in their own way. But it's mutually beneficial because both of you are pouring into each other and both of you agree to pour into each other in the ways that are the most impactful. So it's not about thinking, how do I avoid self-serving people? It's about thinking about how do I align myself with people who will serve me and I will serve them in a way that we both can enjoy and benefit from the situation. And when I do come across people who are looking to take advantage of me, it's only because they're looking to be self-serving and they don't care about how they can serve me as well. In which case, I will just not align myself with those people once I come to that realization, right? You can't control the outcome when it relates to how people would treat you. But once you recognize that, you can control what you choose to do after you recognize that someone is only looking to take advantage of you and not give you or do anything for you in return, whether that be in a friendship or in a relationship. Okay? All right, chat, that's the show for today. I'll make sure to, any of you who have a question for me, whether it's in the free section, in the premium section, in the private section, you can ask me a question any one of those ways by hitting the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. And you can ask me a question regardless of what it is, okay? Anything you want to ask. All right, for those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is just above my head on the top left corner of the screen. If you're watching this on TikTok, it's also at the bottom of the description if you're watching this on YouTube, and you can find my Instagram there to follow me. I'm going to be posting very soon. When I get to 100K on YouTube, I'm definitely going to post something on Instagram, and I'm going to be like super active on Instagram for sure, because I be neglecting Instagram, my personal one. By the way, Nicole Cottom donates $5. She says, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate you. All right, chat. So my YouTube channel is just above my head on the top right corner of the screen for those of you who are watching on TikTok and want to rewatch the show from start to finish because you missed some parts or you came late and you want this information, you want to rewatch some funny parts. You can go to my YouTube channel, just my name, Tomisin, Tomisin, and then once you get there, go into the live section, click where it says the live. And then once you get into the live section, you'll be able to see this live show and all the other live shows I've done since the beginning of time. Awesome. And for those of you who are wondering what days I'm on live stream, I'm on Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so I'm going to be on again on next week on Monday, but I will be posting pre-recorded YouTube videos on here as well on my main YouTube channel. Those are going to be a little bit different just because it's not live. So they're going to have a little bit of a je ne sais quoi to them. So look out for that. Make sure you're in our Discord because I announce them when I post those videos you have yet to see. And it'll be very interesting and awesome, the ones I have coming up. All right. Until we meet again on Monday, I bid you adieu, hasta la vista, sayonara, adios, ciao, salam, bounty. Did I say all of them? Arrivederci. Bon voyage. Why am I doing it with my left hand? A salute with the right hand. I'll see you again on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go eat sushi now. I really want some sushi. Sushi. Yeah, like a red dragon roll. That's what I'm going to get. Yeah, I'm going to stuff my face with sushi. That's what I'm feeling. I'll see you guys later.